What up, y'all? This is Boolin Q60, and today I'm going to talk about my Airlift suspension. A lot of people ask me how I drive this low. I don't know what the fuck am I doing, but in reality it's on air suspension, so I can adjust the heights and get a little crazy with it. So today I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of air suspension, also known as being on bags. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I like, that I dislike, cost, price, what kit I have in specific, and my experiences with it overall. So a couple things to note. I am on the Airlift Performance 3P kit. There are a lot of different kits out there, but personally, Airlift is probably one of the most well-known companies and brands. So I went with theirs, and it's been really good. I've had it for a little over a year now. I got it in September of 2021. Right now it's October 2022. So 1 year on it. The kit has been very, very reliable, knock on wood. It's been amazing, fun, and just fucking super dope to have my car look like fucking this. A lot of people get pretty crazy with their trunk setups. Mine is probably the most basic ever. Well, first, my shit's super messy. But right here I have I believe it's a 4-gallon tank and 1 compressor. So people usually have 1 or 2 compressors depending on their system. So 1 compressor is all I have. I think with the 2, it builds the air pressure a lot quicker, so you can move up and down a lot more freely. Just a little bit of a closer setup. Again, 4-gallon tank, 1 compressor. Boom. Pretty simple. Trunker is already pretty small, so it takes up a little bit, but honestly not much really fits back there anyways. As a daily driver, I can survive. You know, coming into this, you already don't have enough space, so fuck it, a little less space won't really hurt either. As far as setting stuff up, you know, I had a shop install it for me, so I got the remote control right here. There's also apps on the phone. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. So this will have all the different ride heights. So the very top one will lift the front, you know, just lift the front up. This is the high ride height, which I have set for like speed bumps, driveways, and just like things like that where I need to be a little bit higher so I don't scrape my car or do anything like that. The middle one is my standard ride height, which is just how I drive on the daily. And in case like if I hit something, or like if there's like a speed bump or something, I'll hit the top one real quick, go up, or this one, and then kind of go back. This one is a lower ride height. I don't really use it because it just really like, I just don't use it really. And then the bottom one will air out my car fully, and that's usually when I park, so I can look cool. You already know. And these other ones will adjust each corner manually. Obviously top is up and bottom is down, air pressure. So that's pretty simple. It's super easy to use. A lot of people have like cool little kits and shit, but I just kind of rock with it. And the cup holder over here, and just whatever. I don't know what kind of issues these kits really run into. The only problem I've ever had was fuses going out. And it's not really been a big deal, but if you don't have your parts ready, it can be a bitch. So basically what it is for me on the Airlift, there's a fuse right here. Let's see. So it's just a little fuse. I'll show you after. Sometimes if this fuse blows, and I've been through like 6 of them. So if the fuse blows, the kit will not run. So if you're aired out and your fuse dies, you're stuck. You literally can't do anything. The system won't turn on and you're stuck. So you always gotta keep a couple motherfucking things on you, which look like these bad boys. So if you have an Airlift Performance kit, always keep these on you. They are the ATC 30A fuses. 100%, do not get caught without these, because you're gonna hate your life. So always keep these on you, 100%. That's the #1 rule. Other than fuses blowing, which they really cost like $6 for a pack, which honestly is nothing. It's part of it. There hasn't been any issues. I had a couple of errors that said the system, there was a leak on like a certain side or anything, but when I turn off the car, turn it back on, nothing happens. It kind of just goes away. So other than that, it's been super reliable. It's been amazing, super fucking fun. So some of the reasons I ended up going with the air suspension instead of coilovers or springs is the main is just adjustable height. So coming from a coilover G37, number one, with coilovers, it's really a pain to adjust the height. You could do it, but you gotta like do the most. You gotta go under there, you know, adjust the height. And when I started adjusting the height a lot to get the perfect fitment, or whether I was going on a road trip, I ended up like kind of messing with the system and it just didn't ride as well. So for adjustability, air suspension, 100%. Coilovers were fun, but riding low where I want to ride, I would get stuck. I would scrape a bunch. I would always just like have to worry about driving in certain areas or a couple of speed bumps or out the driveways. And there were certain routes that I wouldn't even take because I was on coilovers. The most cheap alternative for lowering a car is springs. However, I did not opt that route because they have specific heights already. So I didn't want to do that because if you're getting new wheels, you're constantly changing, you want to change tire sizes, you always have to change the fitment and your stance and your height. So going with air suspension is the most adjustable way to go about your suspension. And you can't really get this low on anything else. I mean, you can, but you'll probably ride like shit and you'll probably hate your life. So right now I'm on 20s. These are Velgen 20 by 10.5 plus 25s. So this is the current fitment plus 25. I have two 85/30s on the back and two 75/30s on the front. Some of the pros and cons of being on air suspension. The number one pro is just adjustability. You can go at any height you really want, wherever you need to, depending on your circumstance. If you're parked, if you're driving on a bumpy road, something with a lot of dips, if you have constant speed bumps, going up and down driveways, going into a shop, sometimes they're not lower friendly. And that was what I experienced. I've literally gotten stuck going into certain shops, just trying to get some work done, and like I just had to leave because like I've got stuck and I had to go. It didn't work. So yeah, so the biggest pro would probably be the adjustability. Some of the cons for air suspension is that it is heavy. If you have a performance car or you're looking to, you know, maybe track times or racing, the air suspension kit is a little bit heavier than your standard platform. You have the tank, you have the wiring, you have the compressors. I don't know about the actual weight, but I'm sure it's, you know, it's not the lightest thing in the world. Another con of air suspension is that it can get pretty pricey. I was actually very lucky and got a used kit. So I paid about $3,800 last year for a 3P kit installed. That was from 38 Car Mods in the Bay Area in Santa Clara. They do amazing work. I ended up dropping it off on like a Thursday and they got the car done by like Sunday. So he knocked it out super quick. He actually told me he regretted telling me it would be done so soon because he felt the pressure. But shout out to Car Mods, they do amazing work and they got me the kit and got me looking right. $3,800, brand new. I think Airlift actually just raised their prices a bit, so you would probably expect to pay about $5,000 to $6,500, or probably say $5,000 to $6,000 for an installed kit with everything for something new. I also want to say that I am in no way affiliated with Airlift Performance. I am just running their air suspension. Love them, and I thought I'd make a cool video kind of talk about it. One thing to know about the Q50 and Q60 air suspension kit is that they are interchangeable. You could use a Q50 for a Q60 and a Q60 for a Q50 as long as they're both rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. The kits are identical. This actually came from a used Q50. So yeah, they're interchangeable. If you're looking for someone that's selling a Q50 when you got a Q60, then, you know, it works vice versa. So I've had the kit for about 1 year, a little over a year, and No problems. It's been amazing. It's been running very, very smooth. Hopefully it continues to stay that way. I have probably put 20,000 miles, 15 to 20,000 miles on the kit, and no issues whatsoever. As far as ride quality goes, it is definitely bumpier and a little bit more of a rough ride than stock. I would probably say that would come with any type of, upgraded suspension. If you got coilovers or lowering screen is probably not as bad, but it's a little bit bumpy, it's a little bit stiff. Coming from a Q60 Red Sport, brand new, or not say brand new, but used, stock, that shit rode so smooth, didn't feel any bumps of the road. Now, as I'm driving, you definitely feel it. You definitely feel each thing in the road, and it's not the most fun or comfortable, but it kind of goes hand in hand. You can't have a perfect solution, I would say. Also to note, this is actually my daily driver. So if you have a daily and you want to bag it, put some air suspension on it, I would say go for it. It's been amazing. Probably more daily friendly than coilovers, because I had coilovers in the G, like I said, and I was getting stuck. I was maneuvering, going different ways because I remember I couldn't go that way. I couldn't go out of work one way because it was so steep. Fuck up my car, lose the lip, all that. So definitely really good for daily use. However, it's a little bit more pricey. Okay, and what everyone wants to see is the different heights. So let's see. So right now we're at fully aired out. I'm gonna go to the second lowest. Boom, that's the second lowest height. Right now it's about 110, 115 PSI on the front, about 35 on the bottoms. Sorry, the rears. Okay, so this is gonna be so that's like the lower height that I don't really ride on, and this is gonna be the actual ride height. And then with these kits, sometimes it takes time to build the PSI, so sometimes you gotta be patient. For sure. So right here, I'm at about 125/40, and that is my normal ride height. For the top ride height, which is speed bumps, kind of monster trucking right here, I usually go about 135/50 for the PSI. Doesn't look too bad still at this height, but it definitely helps on bumps. And we'll go lift up the front a little bit. This is when I got speed bumps. And that's just looking like a monster truck. Look at that fucking wheel gap. Fuck that. But I do be riding around like this looking hella sus. But if you see me riding around like this, it's because I ain't trying to fuck up my lip or scrape fucking anything else. Okay, and then individual, I can kind of make the rear go up a little bit more. Big monster truck vibes. And now what everyone loves to see, and this will break people's necks for sure and trip out, we're gonna air this bitch out. You ready? That's what I'm talking about. When you park like this, it makes you feel like a fucking boss or fucking, I don't know. When you park like this, it definitely helps. People will not steal your cats. I doubt they can go under there, steal your cats. Fuck, they can't steal your wheels. That's also another pro. I park like this damn near everywhere, so no one can fucking take my shit. So I gotta park on the street every now and then. So no cat stealing, no wheel stealing, no car stealing either. Look, if you can get a jack under this shit, fucking take my car, because you're a fucking beast. Nah, don't try to take my car if you can fit a jack under there. I know there's people that can really finesse some crazy shit, but it definitely helps. It's one way, and I mean, people don't know how to air it up too, so if you try to jack my car, drive off like this, you're gonna be scraping and doing the works. If you are new to air suspension, one tip is Anytime you air out, make sure your wheels are completely straight. If they're turned slightly and you air out, you're gonna fuck up your fenders. My fenders are a little fucked up, but that's because when I first got the wheels, I was wearing 275 35s, which are some big boys, and it would hit. So just make sure you keep it straight. My friend told me that, and I never forgot since he told me. So something to think about. The 2022 #1 catalytic converter security system and wheel security system, air suspension. We'll go back through. Let's go ride height. And it's pretty quick. It's not too bad. Another thing I do want to note, let's see. This is going to go super speed bump height. When you are driving, so I can't do this anymore. I used to for some reason, but when you are driving, I can't go to speed bump mode to regular ride mode, because sometimes it'll dip fully down. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it'll dip the front too down and it'll start scraping. Also, one thing to think about is when you're actually driving, you can air out or air down a little bit, but when you're going to the preset modes, a lot of times the car will like dip down the front really fast and then go back up. So I highly suggest not to go to your different ride heights while driving, because I used to do that and it worked, and then at some point the system maybe changed somehow and it would just drop down. So look at that shit. Make some people nut. Not me though, I swear. Yeah, so just to summarize, the Airlift kit, this is the Airlift 3P kit, amazing system, no issues so far, just a couple blown fuses. Like I said, super easy to take care of. I got it for $3,800 used, brand new right now. It's probably about $5 to $6K, and that you'll probably be paying, but you know, depending if it's worth the value or not, it's up to you to determine. But the pros is the adjustable heights compared to coilovers. So that's #1, but again, it is a little bit more pricey. And the biggest part of it all, theft deterrent system, 100%. At least that's what you gotta tell your girlfriend while you bought it. Yeah, the app is awesome. It definitely helps adjust the heights too. So it's really cool to have on your phone, and you have the remote as well.